We are back for the final day of my discussion on Dawntrail, but I will make a fully featured discussion video talking about all of Dawntrail, including like how it ranks and all the things. But at least for now, I just want to talk about what I played through for the last 7 hours. The first thing we went through was the Orogenic dungeon. That was a very cool dungeon. Not only did they actually seep in lore about each of the soul processing facilities, music was incredible. It's still maybe not as good as Vanguard. Okay, I'm still a huge fan of the Vanguard music, though it's still a pretty awesome banger. Next, we move right into the Everkeep trial where we fight Zorolja. This one was amazing because Zorolja had so many cool patterns to dodge. Like, I'm not kidding you. He had the ones where the patterns would appear on like other aspects of the cube, and then you would have to trace it with your eyes of like which, like, because it would be on some other cubes outside of the main platform, and then they would all link up to different areas of the platform you're on. So you had to kind of figure out a small little puzzle as you're trying to dodge, and that was just so much fun. And then his second form looked so dope. I don't know what it was, but that second form was just so awesome. I freaking loved that. So yeah, that was so much fun. And it was also like a very sad moment because we had the moment where Zorolja is like kind of feeling this like sense of not guilt, but like the sense of like, I failed to live up to expectations, you know? This very like believable reason for why he's doing what he's doing, and it's because he just felt like he could never live up to the expectations his father set, and he tried his own way to exceed those expectations. So I love that. We also learned that atop of Everkeep was a portal to another reflection, which was obviously the Alexandria reflection, which was so cool. We still don't know what number reflection it is. I'm still saying it's 9 just because of solution 9, because it's Final Fantasy based off Final Fantasy 9, all these different things, but who knows, it might not be. And then we learn that Sphene is like, yo, you killed Zorolja, but my people still need help. Because what we learned in Orogenics, and then what Sphene also tells us is like, in order for my people to survive, in order for the Endless to continue surviving, we need the life of people. And the only way we can do that is by killing. And Graha mentions like this great point to her, and he's like, no matter what you do, even if you go and destroy another world, you're still going to run into the same issue because people will always be dying. You'll always need some more life. And so he's like, you will still continuously wipe out all other reflections, all other worlds, and you would still run into the same issue. But she was like, you know what? I'm done speaking with you. Peace out. She takes the artifact and then she heads up to the reflection, and we're just like, oh no. And when she closes the reflection, we learn that Chua is actually an Endless, which I was debating on whether she was an Endless or whether she was like very similar to Otis or all these different things, but it definitely seems like, oh, the connection to Alexandria to here was only accessible to the Endless because the portal was always open, and now it's sealed. And we're like, how do we get to it? And I was like, oh yeah, the City of the Gold, let's go there. So we get to the City of Gold. Really awesome moment where everyone is like coming together of like, we're gonna keep this portal open because we don't know if Sphene's gonna close it or not, so we're gonna try our best to keep it open. Everyone's like, I'll defend it. And then we got our expedition here. We have Graha, we got Kryl, we got Wuklamont, and we got me, and we're like, all right, we're going in. And we're like, we're going to go to the expedition. We go inside and we see the City of Gold. And this is where the belief that Yokuels had about the memories of someone and how they don't die, I think it came from Alexandria. Because, you know, they talk about how the Yokuels had these dreams and visions of the City of Gold, right? Because Sphene constantly says that, like, because they're in our memories, they're never forgotten. Obviously, the way she implies that, it means something different to the way giants are implementing it in their own culture. But I really feel like because the giants learned about the City of Gold and they had visions of the City of Gold, I think that is where they came to the understanding that death is not permanent. Once, if you remember someone and you keep them always in your heart, that they'll always live on. And I think that's where they pulled that understanding from Alexandria in the City of Gold. Because when we go to living memory, this was a really dystopian and very unsettling area, because you're seeing all these people who died, and the terminal is using their memories to reconstruct how they would act. And even to the point where the terminals would put people who knew each other together so that they would always have these relationships. Every character, whether it be Kryl, Ernville, Wooklemont, they're all interacting with an AI that is attempting to use the memories of all these people and recreate them in a way that feels like it's actually them. And it was super unsettling because it's not something I would ever want to be a part of or participate in. That being said, this was one of the most emotionally wrenching moments. Because sometimes you never get that opportunity. Like with Kryl's parents. Kryl's never got to see her parents. She's never got to talk to them. She's never got to have a meal with them. So the fact that we were able to see that opportunity, that she was able to experience that, and that she herself was able to say her a goodbye the way she wanted to. And on top of that, she learned about her own people. It's so beautiful. And the same thing with Ernville. Ernville, only just a few days ago did he realize that he lost all contact of his mother because of the dome. And now he is throughout the entirety of that dungeon, he's quiet. He is held back because he knows that he lost his mother. And that he knows that he lost his mother. And he's trying so hard to not say anything because he doesn't know how to process this. And it's so heartbreaking to see a character like that. And what really broke me during that whole scene was there was a moment where they're about to say goodbye. I didn't even bother pressing the tears button. I can't. There's a moment where Ernville's mother is saying goodbye to him. And it's this character who is it's a character who has been so excited and so uplifting and making jokes, cracking jokes, and for the first time, she starts to cry. And it's just really heartbreaking to see. And all of this is to say that the living memory is one of those things where I might be against this completely. And it's something that I'm like, this should not exist in the real world. But the moments that I saw with Kryl, with Wooklemont and Namika, with Ernville and his mother, it really makes me think that if I was in a situation like theirs, I would not pass down that opportunity, So that was absolutely incredible. So that's really it with the living memory. We turn off all the terminals, the endless fall apart. It becomes this old, decrepit area, which I didn't even talk about how the living memory looks. The living memory looks amazing. Full of life, looks incredible. It's very funny how I mentioned that Solution 9 looks like it's stale and dead, and then how living memory looks like it's alive and well. And they're kind of the inverse, because one is hosting the dead and one is hosting the living, which is very funny, but I digress. Living memory, we travel forward to the Alexandria dungeon. That was super cool. It definitely reminds me of the dungeon in 6.5 for Endwalker. That was a ton of fun of just exploring this old town. And the cool thing about it is that we explore Alexandria in 3 different acts, right? The first one is kind of just seeing Alexandria as it has always been. Then the next one is during the war, and then the last one is during the Reconstruction. And what was really cool about each moment is that as we were entering boss battles, it saw us as a virus, right? It saw us as this foreign entity that should be expelled from the terminal. And so we got introduced to these like creepy, crazy monsters, to like the last one being one of the coolest because they had so many awesome attack patterns that it was just a lot of fun to just experience and play. I think that was the one thing that I realized playing through all of Dawntrail was like, maybe this was one of the first times where I was like truly like all in on like the pattern dodging and the moving around, because usually it's like, oh, you know, it's cool to fight the boss, but I'm like, I'm ready for the story here. But this one, I was like super engaged, super excited about fighting these bosses. All of their designs were incredible. A lot of the fighting was super cool, especially the final boss was so awesome. So that was a lot of fun. And then we moved straight into the Interfoes fight, which was incredible. Not only was that opening cuts, that beginning cutscene just super dope, about like, oh yeah, we're inviting the Warriors of Light to join us in this battle, which was so funny because even when I was playing Endwalker, which I was playing Endwalker at launch, even I had to wait at least a minute or so for the trial to start. Here, no, the trial instantly already clicked in. I was like, whoa, what the heck? That was quick. And the music was so good. That entire fight was incredible. Surprisingly, I only died once, and the party did not wipe at all, which was... I was stunned. But that whole fight was incredible. There was so many... I don't even know... I was too busy playing the actual dungeon for me to write down the different patterns and things that occurred. But it was just a huge variety of so many cool abilities. There was like one where you saw this like a computer grid on the ground, and then you would start seeing the grid start to warp, and you're like, oh, that's the attack cone, we gotta move aside, and that was super cool. There was one where it would follow lasers, and it would direct, people would be controlling the attack line. There was one where it created a like very steep, like a very thin platforms that you had to move across. You played Wipeout at some point. It was like, there was so many incredible, like that was truly one of the coolest fights. And then of course, get the second form, which this time, second form did not happen at 50%. It happened towards the very end because honestly, I think they learned from the Endsinger of just like, hey, the second form is more of just like a hype. You won the game. So the second form is like, sure, it's gonna get slightly harder, but it's really just meant for you to just get so hyped and so excited that you're about to defeat the enemy. And so you got Wukamon just Rex like Sephi, we're gonna show you, and it starts like Wukamon just like smacking it and slamming dudes, and I was like, oh my god, this is so awesome. And you're like fighting alongside her, and man, it was just so incredible. It truly, Dawntrail has been one of my favorite Final Fantasy XIV experiences. And I won't say where it ranks, okay? I gave a brief, quick ranking in the stream, but I want to take my time for the full review or the full discussion of all of Dawntrail combined together. I can't say when this will be released because it's going to take a while for me to get the full discussion video, but it will happen on my, actually I have a main channel. It's gonna happen on the main channel and it's gonna be good. So thank you for watching me play through all of Final Fantasy XIV or listen to my discussions about the game. I will say, if you are interested in watching more streams of me playing Final Fantasy XIV, I would say don't expect it. As much as I did enjoy playing Dawntrail and having fun on the stream, I would much rather enjoy the game without having to worry about streaming it. That being said, I love doing these discussion videos. I love talking about what occurred, what happened. So definitely for future patches, I'll be doing more of these style of videos because this is what I find most fun about going through all of Dawntrail. So that's it for me. And until next time, I'll see you later. Goodbye. Goodbye now. Goodbye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.